their seats, and any of the speakers come towards the podium. You can hear? Is that better? Yeah. So we'll probably get started in a couple of minutes. If you can take your seats and or move towards the podium if you're a speaker. Thank you. Hi, good morning, everyone. First, I'd like to thank everyone for being here. This is an exciting moment for the project. My name is Bill Cockrum. I'm one of the development partners. My partner is Jonathan Genton, who's also here. We're Genton Cockrum Partners, and very excited for this milestone in the project, starting the demolition of the courthouse building, and a milestone in the overall redevelopment of the site, which has been in process for quite a long time. And we're very feeling it's a privilege to be our role as a developer here in partnership with the County of Los Angeles, and wanted to take a quick minute. I think this process a little bit about the history of the building. It was constructed back in 1968 and permanently closed in 2013. And we were selected by the County of Los Angeles to partner to redevelop this into approximately 300 apartments, including 20% affordable units, and over about 20,000 square feet of ground floor retail and parking, which we've worked through as a partnership over the last 3 years to entitle. Also with the City of Los Angeles, that our entitlements have been through the City of Los Angeles. There's a large group of people to thank for the work that we've done. And for us, kind of key themes as we went through that project, one was even making sure this was viable. I know this has been a long time coming. But two key themes that have been in the project since inception have been union construction and housing that's affordable. So we have quite an esteemed group of speakers here with us today. Our plan is to roll through a number of comments by 6 individuals that have been stakeholders in the project, champions of the project, supporters of the project, and then followed by kind of a brief demolition of a portion of the building behind us, and then we'll be taking some photos as well. Our commitment here is that we'll do what it takes to make this into a reality, and with that, I'd like to thank a couple of individuals and a couple of organizations that have helped us get to this point. One, obviously, is the County of Los Angeles and Supervisor Hahn in particular. I'd like to thank Council District 15, led by Council Member Joe Busquiano. And as we've worked through this for the past 3 years, our architect has been MVE Partners. They've been a good partnership with us getting to this point. We'll continue on. Our contractor for this demolition work has been Darko Engineering, and Gary Darnell, who we appreciate, and all of our team as well. There's a lot of work that goes on. I think this gives a very visible event for the project, but we've been working with a large group of team members, many of which I could mention, and try not to make this into something more like the Oscars, but there are significant teams at the county, the city, the architect, the construction side of things, in particular our partnership with the LA and Orange County construction trades has been quite strong and significant for us. And lastly, I'd just like to thank my sweetheart as well, Rita Whitney, who's been very supportive of me throughout all of this. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first speaker, and really who's been a champion of this project, her vision, her leadership, and really making this a reality, is Los Angeles County Supervisor Janice Hahn.
First, I would like to acknowledge the first peoples of this unceded land, which we occupy currently. With respect to their elders, past and present, we recognize the Chumash, the Quiche, the Serrano, the Tataviam, and the Tonga as the original stewards of this land, air, and water, and to provide our support as they continue to lift up their stories. Thank you, Bill, for that introduction. Thank you to Sirens and the Donut for the delicious coffee and donuts. This has been a long time coming. This courthouse was closed by the state in 2014, but my involvement really started in 2016 when I was elected to the County Board of Supervisors. The County of Los Angeles acquired this property, and there was a deal in place already with the developer, but I didn't think it was the right project for our community. Local residents hadn't gotten the chance to weigh in, and it wasn't a project that lived up to our values. So I decided we needed to go back to the drawing board and get more feedback from the community. We held a community meeting right across the street at Pola High School and gave people here in San Pedro the opportunity to share what they wanted out of this project. All of that feedback contributed to the project that gets underway today, one that lives up to our community's values by being both union-built and union-financed. That means that not only will every worker on this project be supported by a union, but the project is financed by the AFL-CIO Housing Investment Trust. It's a great addition to our downtown area. The ground floor will be beautiful new retail space and a new food hall, in addition to 300 new apartments. It was really important to me that this project included apartments that people can afford. And I'm proud that 20% of the units are going to be affordable for families living below the median income. I know that this project seems like it's taken a long time to get to this point. Councilmember Busquiano was bugging me all the time to speed up the process, But then when I thought the city of LA was taking a little way too long on the entitlements, I bugged him right back. And Joe, here we are today together. I feel good about this project. These new apartments are going to mean more people calling downtown San Pedro home and walking around our community, shopping in local businesses, and dining in our local restaurants. It is only going to add to the great community we've been working on building for nearly 20 years now. I remember when I was on the city council, and Elise Swanson was my housing and economic development deputy, and we were working to get the Center Street lofts, the bank lofts, the LaSalle lofts built, and filled with new residents. A lot has changed since then, and I'm so proud to see what this downtown has become. I want to thank Bill Cockrum and his team for putting together such an excellent project and for being so willing to include feedback from our community and from our partners in the Chamber of Commerce and the PBID. Thank you to my wonderful Director of Public Works, Mark Pastrella. Give Mark a big hand. And to your team for all that they're going to do. Thank you to my staff, Doritza Gonzalez, who's my Public Works Deputy, Erica Velasquez, who's my Harbor Area Deputy, and Jamie Wilson, who's my Economic Development Deputy, that have helped to bring this project to this moment today. And Erica and I have an office right up there, so Bill, we're going to be keeping our eye on this project. Today, we're saying our last goodbyes to the old courthouse. This was a place where people came to seek justice. This was a place where judges and lawyers and residents fulfilling their civic duty on juries worked to serve the public. Maybe for a few of you, this was a place you came to pay a traffic ticket or two. Regardless of what your memories are with this building, it served our community well for as long as it could. And today, we are officially closing the door on that chapter of this property and opening the door to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments, and I'd like to introduce now Los Angeles City Council member Joe Busquiano with our sincere thanks for helping us through the city entitlement process for the project and continued kind of support. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. I'm joined here not only by an incredible leader in Janice Hahn, our supervisor. Thank you, Janice. Dating back to your time as a councilwoman, the vision that you had, the vision that we shared of bringing investment, quality housing, waterfront development here in our hometown. And it is taking shape. It is happening. And to the pundits, back off. Let us put, we talk about the importance of quality housing, and we oftentimes we cut ourselves short on looking at the big picture, what this means, this development means for downtown San Pedro. This here courthouse property is the center point of this renaissance that's taking shape in San Pedro. With the waterfront development that is happening, check. The redevelopment of Rancho San Pedro without displacing a single family, check. The fact that we have 95% of eliminated street camping because we've said yes to solutions, check. We have what we've done together as a community, supporting, updating our community plan. So this project before you is by right, check. We've done this together, along with our stakeholders, along with our labor partners, along with our chamber and PBID, and those who believe in this town. What we're seeing here is amazing deal flow taking place, amazing capital flow, Eric Eisenberg, that we've always talked about. It's happening, it's real, and it's happening today even more so. So give yourselves a round of applause for saying yes, but also lending your voice, your hearts, to make sure that we do what's right for our beloved San Pedro. In the shadows of Buono's Pizzeria, and I see Frank here in our historic core, in our Little Italy. I see this food hall, Janice, where you can visit the food hall, and and have a cannoli making shop in our food hall, and recognizing our history here in San Pedro, with potentially looking at a labor museum to recognize the hard work of our brothers and sisters along the waterfront. This vision is coming to life, and this is a big picture that I want to share with you. The 300 units, the residents will be able to enjoy themselves here, walk up to Warner Grand Liz, go down to the amphitheater at Harbor, go to Boca by night on Friday and Saturday night, have a cold beer at the San Pedro Brewing Company, visit La Siciliana, have the finest spa in Los Angeles. This is exactly what we have called for. So thank you for your patience. Jan, I will stop texting you as of today on the importance of making sure this project happens. And in talking to Mark and the city entities, we will ensure that we get this done quick. We have the where's Lee Williams? I see Will. I work out with Lee. He reminds me of moving quickly with urgency on these projects. It's so this on the city side, we'll commit and fast track and streamline the processes to get this thing built. Thankfully, we have today's the start of our demolition, and let's put skepticism in the rearview mirror. It is happening, and I'm proud to be along with each and every one of you on this journey to bring investment, quality housing in a time where we're thirsting for more housing. It's happening here in San Pedro. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Council Member. And so next I'd like to introduce Mark Pastrella. He's the Director of Los Angeles County Public Works. And he and his team have really managed the day-to-day process on behalf of the county, moving this project forward. And they've been terrific to work with. And Mark in particular has personally gotten involved when needed, which we very much appreciate. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate being here. Appreciate the opportunity to build for the community of Los Angeles and, of course, the community of San Pedro. It's a pleasure, of course, to be here today and finally, Supervisor, knocking the building down. We talked a lot about getting it going. So, again, I can't start without thanking Supervisor Janice Hahn for her leadership. Working for Supervisor for many years now and knowing her for many more years, I know one thing about Supervisor. She's dedicated to the people that elect her to office and the communities in which she serves, and in particular this community of San Pedro, which is so special to you, Supervisor. Your leadership and vision and persistence are what made this project a reality. It's true, Supervisor came to us with the original project was ready to go as Supervisor took office for Los Angeles County in the 4th District. And the first word was, what does the community think about this? How do you know, Mark, that the community is okay with what we're going to build? And you know, I couldn't really answer the question honestly. Supervisor, we did not know really what the community wanted. And of course, you came and made sure that we heard the community before we put another pen to paper. And yes, we had multiple community meetings, in particular one I remember, very strong one I remember here, where we got an earful about what the community actually wanted out of this old courthouse building and actually out of this county property. Let's remember, this is a county asset we're building on. It's actually a county island of land here, which it's why I'm standing here. The County of Los Angeles will build the building in a 3P partnership with our developer. It's going to be exciting. We're going to have a wonderful project. Now, this is just one of the many legacy achievements, Supervisor, I expect you'll be able to point to in the years to come as the county starts to take, and as your leadership starts to take the form of the built environment. We've been working for a long time developing what that plan is, and now we're getting another jolt thanks to the federal government and the state government bringing infrastructure dollars as an opportunity to the communities of Los Angeles, and Supervisors on the forefront of making that investment in the community of Los Angeles County as well as the local communities by bringing about world-class infrastructure and distributing it fairly across Los Angeles County. Today marks a milestone again for San Pedro, the result of collaborative planning I mentioned that required hard work and coordination by many partners. The community should be glad to know that the government is working together. Our partners at the City of Los Angeles and the many departments that have to be involved in the development of this are good friends of mine and good strategic relations. And we have worked together very closely, you'll both be happy to know, to make sure that we don't let bureaucracy get in the way or perfect get in the way of good, if you will. And in fact, I'm proud to say that is the result of that is why we're here today. We're quickly here today. It's also fantastic, frankly, to see elected officials from both county and city getting along well, I got to tell you. So the other partners that are involved, I mentioned the P3 partnership here. We are in partnership with Genton Partners. Mr. Jonathan Genton's here, the CEO. I want to thank him for his leadership and for his partnership. Again, Councilman Busquiano, and so very importantly, the building trades, represented by Mr. Chris Hannon here today. This is the modern way we build. It's exciting to be a builder at this time for me. The county government taking the leap of faith to work in a P3 environment where it's public-private partnership. This allows the public and private dollars to work together and leverage for the benefit of the community. So we're not afraid of each other, we share the risk, and we build something for community. And that's what's so exciting about a P3 and why I'm excited to be working with Genton Partners. Over the years, many of you walked or driven by this shuttered courthouse. In fact, many of you parked here. Envisioning its potential as a catalyst of economic development or much-needed affordable housing. Fortunately enough, you believed and trusted each other to see the vision through, and you also trusted Supervisor Hahn that she would deliver, and she has delivered. The project we are celebrating today is much more than a building. I see it in the broader context as an important part of a greater effort to connect and activate our streets. We do that through things like civic art, street furniture, and other amenities that attract foot traffic and create vibrant and social spaces here in San Pedro and across the county. San Pedro was a homeland, as Supervisor said, as the Tongvan Gabriano Native American people for thousands of years. The Native American culture fosters peace and friendship. I believe that it takes a community to create a place, and a place to create a community. And I, for one, am looking forward to seeing this place built and this community thrive and prosper in the years to come. Thank you all.
Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Tim McCosker, who's had a variety of leadership roles in the community here, and I think as many of you may know well, he's also running for Council District 15 as a council member representing the area. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is a great day. This isn't a great day. I'm here in my role as a board member at the Chamber, but I know Elise will be speaking in a moment and probably introducing some of my colleagues. I'm also here as the past president of the PBID, and let's hear it for the PBID, all right. But I also want to call out our new president, the new president of our PBID, Yolanda Regalado, whose coffee we're drinking. And going back to the first chamber meeting that I was leading right after Janice's election, we actually took up this issue of going back to the drawing board. And our chamber was with you. We said, let's go back to the drawing board. Let's go work with our supervisor, and let's respect the community. And not that the community wasn't respected, but it's extraordinarily important to bring people in. Because think of how important this resource has been to us in our lives. I was talking to Kurt Muller just before this began. Kurt Muller and I worked together for Jim Hahn in the city attorney's office, and this was home to our operations. Kurt Muller spent a career here, and we had great judges like Pete Mirich, Judge Mirich. Let's hear it for Judge Mirich. This was a place where families came together as defendants, as prosecutors, as bailiffs, as judges, as jurors. And Pete used to start every panel by saying, okay, panel, this is really unusual. Okay, panel, there's 25 of you. How many of you know somebody in the courtroom? Half the hands would go up because this was a place where people knew each other. And what we want to do is we want to recapture that spirit with this project. This is going to be a place where we're going to build 300 units, not we, you're going to build 300 units. There's going to be 60 affordable units. Our kids and our grandkids and our neighbors are going to be able to afford this place. And that bottom floor is going to respect the community because it is going to be a place that the PBID so carefully wants to make sure that we're bringing foot traffic, bringing people in, and that this will be, once again, Mayberry RFD as a courtroom. So thank you very much for your texts back and forth. Really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Chris, for your support. We are all very, very appreciative that you're bringing us a great project. So let's hear it for this team.
Thank you, and I'd also like to now ask Elise Swanson to join us up here, who's the President and CEO of the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce.
Woo! Good morning. I think it's still morning. Yes, it's still morning. What an amazing day. Supervisor, Councilman, thank you for your continued investment and support in the revitalization of this community in downtown San Pedro. It's a true pleasure for me to be with all of you today. This has been a long journey, and I just want to thank my San Pedro Chamber Board chairs and past chairs with us today. John Bagakis, raise your hand. There's John, my current board chair. I have with us today Lee Williams, immediate past board chair. Lee, if you could raise your hand. And as Tim mentioned, Tim was our board chair when we took up this project when Supervisor Hahn brought it back for community input. But I want to tell you all today, this has been a very long journey for the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce, and it actually goes back to 2002 when then City Councilwoman Hahn commissioned a ULI study of downtown San Pedro. And our chamber actively participated in that study with over 100 other community members and stakeholders. And we learned as a community the importance of mixed-use housing development to revitalize communities, to bring residents, as the council member and the supervisor mentioned, right into downtown San Pedro to support the economic revitalization. New housing and residents and retail and the food court will truly lift the overall economy of not only downtown but of our community. We know as a chamber, I receive calls all the time about the critical need for workforce housing, affordable housing in this community. I have business owners calling me, they can't house their employees, which leads to, as you all know, freeway congestion. I'm speaking to the choir, or their inability to hire or maintain their employees who can't afford to live in San Pedro. This site is critical, and I want to thank the developers for their attention to the arts. As you all know, or many of you may not know, you are in the middle of the San Pedro Arts and Cultural District. Yes? One of 14 in the state of California, and the reactivation of what this has kind of been as dead zone, as it was closed for years, but the reactivation of this site is a part of First Thursdays, as a part of other community festivals and events will be very important. So we appreciate that attention. I just want to really also truly thank the Genton Cockrum Partners for joining the San Pedro Chamber of Commerce. So we'll really be partners as we move forward in this. And we really do want to thank you for helping the Chamber succeed in its mission to make San Pedro a better place to live, work, and visit. Once again, thank you, everybody. It's a great celebration.
Thank you. And our last speaker is Chris Hayden. He's the Executive Secretary of the Los Angeles Orange County Building and Construction Trades Council. And wanted to take just 1 minute to also just thank his predecessor, Ron Miller, who was also instrumental in pulling this together and our involvement, and it's been a great partnership for us and very important relationship for us as well. So, Chris, thank you.
Good morning, everybody. On behalf of the Los Angeles Orange County's Building Construction Trades Council, the 48 affiliates who represent over 140,000 of the hardest working, best trained men and women in construction, I want to highlight a couple things here. A project of this level of thoughtfulness doesn't happen without strong leadership. Supervisor Hahn, Councilmember Busquiano, leadership with a vision of bringing people together. I have to say that Jonathan and Bill, the developers, are not only developers with a great vision, but they have big hearts. They have compassion, and it was their insistence that every worker be a unionized, represented worker on this project. Every worker has access to the highest training anywhere. And we can't have responsible development if we're leaving people behind. So not only is every worker going to be represented on this project, veterans, residents, Angelenos, members of the San Pedro community and not only the San Pedro community, any underserved community within the County of Los Angeles are going to be first priority for dispatches on this project. Not only first priority for our existing members, but for new members coming into our apprenticeship programs. And it's not just for men. Supervisor Hahn pushes us every chance she gets, and rightfully so, to make sure that every opportunity is given to women and girls that want a future in the building trades. This is a project that's going to be inclusive. This is a project that members of the community that help build the project are going to be able to be proud and be able to enjoy the project as well. I want to thank the community for including the building trades, thank the supervisor, the council member, and two men with very, very big hearts that wouldn't allow anyone to be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we appreciate all of those kind comments, and at this point we're going to move forward with starting our demolition, led by Supervisor Janice Hahn, really directing the construction team to get started.
Gentlemen, start your instance.
Now you know.